All things Cayman, one radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates.
FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 13th day of May 2020. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist operating any type of vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. For those speedsters on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we ask you to please drive cautiously. Bear in mind that there are others on the roads of the Cayman Islands, and while the speed limits are set, you should also your driving should also be determined by the conditions on the road, whether it has to do with lots of traffic, not so much traffic, whether the roads are wet, whether the roads are dry, as well. So we really urge you to please be extremely cautious. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. If you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones during these very challenging times, and losing a loved one at any time is certainly devastating, but more so when there are restrictions in terms of your ability to bury your loved ones as well. So again, we send out our sincere condolences to you if you have lost loved ones, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. Ms. Phyllis Moxham Jensen wanted to give a big shout out to her friend, Mrs. Claire Range, also to Mr. Richard Barton. They are at the Her Majesty's Prison, and also Mr. Mervyn Manderson, who I think works for either Customs and Border Control or work. She wants to give a big shout out to them for the excellent job that they're doing. And we here at Radio Cayman want to give a big shout out to all of the people on the front line, all of those persons on the front lines, whether you're Customs and Border Control, whether you're the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, Health Services Authority, 911, Fire Service, those of you who are working in supermarkets, working at service stations, working in private hospitals, all of those of you who are out there putting your safety, your lives on the line, we want to give you a big shout out and to say a big thank you to you as well. Now, many people will say, well, they chose their profession and they're getting paid for what they're doing. But when people decide to choose their professions, they do it for a variety of reasons. Most people do it because of the passion that they have for a particular area. Some people do it because they have had experiences with family or themselves and said, well, this particular profession helped me through my challenges. I want to give back by being involved in that profession as well. So we want to say a big shout out to all of you out there who are on the front lines, and those who will be coming on the front lines as well. We want to give a big shout out to you as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period of time, our phone lines are always open with the beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at fortherecord, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Leave us a text message. Send us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Before I introduce my guest this morning, I just want to give you an update as it relates to the COVID-19 testing. Of course, there was no press briefing yesterday. So the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, reported a further 377 COVID-19 tests, which have been completed over the last 24 hours. That would have been as of yesterday. Of these 377, one person tested positive for COVID-19, and that person is a known contact of a previously reported positive case. And the Chief Medical Officer also pointed out that this person is already in isolation. Also, I'd like to give you an update as it relates to the Cayman Islands COVID-19 dashboard. We now have a total of 85 confirmed cases. 50 of those 85 have recovered. There have been 4,564 individuals who have been tested. Still one death, and we know that that death was off the cruise ship as well. So those are the figures for the Cayman Islands as of yesterday, the 12th of May, 3 p.m. yesterday. So with that, it is my pleasure to have in the studio again this morning with me none other than MLA Mr. Kenneth Bryan. And of course, I need not tell you that he represents Georgetown Central in our Legislative Assembly. Mr. Bryan, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and thank you so much for having me this morning. Good morning to the lovely Miss Susan in the back, and good morning to your listening audience. It's a pleasure to be here and to have open dialogue and conversation about matters that affect us as a people. I intend to talk about 4 different topics today, and I also hope that you can assist me this morning with a dilemma that I have. And I know that you are a good judge of things. So before I get into the hard things, I'll just talk about the issues that I have, the topics I'm going to be speaking about. and then ask for your assistance with something before we go to the break.
Sure.
And then we can get into the hard stuff at after the 8 o'clock break. But today I want to talk about the effect on homelessness in the Cayman Islands as a result of this pandemic, and what is happening to those persons who were previously homeless before. I know that we all recognize that we do have some individuals in the Cayman Islands who we know sleeps in certain areas or don't have a place of abode. How are they being affected by this? Secondly, the needs assessment unit. How are they performing? Where are things at? I have a number of unfortunate reports to discuss today about the needs assessment unit, a department that is so essential right now with so many people in need. The third topic is jobs for Caymanians as we transition into this new way of economic life and business in the Cayman Islands, and talking a little bit about loss of jobs and how we're going to do that transition for Caymanians who are not working. Then the fourth issue today is the issue that I think I touched on a little bit on your show already, but I think it's such a severe problem I want to examine it a little bit more. And this is the issue of lack of opportunities for supervision for children when parents are asked to go back to work, and how we're going to handle that. So those are the four topics, and obviously other topics that the callers may want to ask me or get my input on. This conversation, this show is about talking to my constituents and the country as a whole. So maybe we may have another little topic pop up somewhere.
Sure.
But also on a very, very serious matter now, I have an issue. I need you to help me be a judge in a situation, a proper judge, because I have a good friend of mine, and my mother and I were talking yesterday, and she told me that she intends to cook some salt beef rundown with turbot. So she told me that she was going to, or she was already in the process of getting some sorted out from Cayman Brac. You know, all the Cayman Brackers are out there fishing it now. So to get some sent down fresh. And she ordered me to go to Foster's yesterday and get a 5-bucket pail of salt beef. So I did that, and I called my good friend and told him, listen, boy, Mama cooking some salt beef rundown and getting turbot from Cayman Brac. And then this friend of mine proceeded to say to me that he heard my story, but thinks that he disbelieves or thinks that my story is a lie. So I was quite disappointed by the fact that he said that he heard my story but thinks I'm a lie. That's a lie. So I said, well, since you think I'm a liar, therefore I'm not going to give you any. So we had a big debate yesterday, or after the conversation, saying that after he found out, because we called my mom on a 3-way call, and my mom confirmed that is going to happen. So we know that some rundown is going to happen. Now he's trying to change his argument to say that he did not call me a liar. Now, as I can't make the call because it's only him and I know that you're a reasonable person, and I know you know the definitions of things. If somebody says to you that you're not telling the truth or you are saying a lie, based on my definition in the dictionary, a liar is a person who tells a lie. Would you agree?
Right.
And the question would be, do you think it's fair for somebody to call me a liar and then give him some of my salt beef rundown afterwards?
Well, if it's a lie, that means that the salt beef rundown is non-existent.
Aye.
It doesn't exist.
Aye.
So if it doesn't exist, he
can't get none.
He's eating air.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm glad you clarified that, because I didn't want to be a biased friend. And I know my good friend is listening. So you got the judgment there, because we discussed this to make OC officiate this verdict. So the verdict is in, and I will surely take a video of me eating it and send it to him. But
what those old people say, you swallow while I chew.
Oh boy! Well, see, that's a little light moment here this morning, just to start the day off. And for those of you who know our culture and stuff, will understand that little small joke. But it's from my good friend Edlin Moore, better known as the Good Moose, and we have a little bit of banter back and forth. But that was a little small joke. But we will be getting into these other serious topics here this morning as soon as you're ready.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Elizabeth Jane Bond Arch, 1874-1941.
Elizabeth Jane Bond Arch of Georgetown was one of 7 children. Though she never married, she raised her sister's son, Ira Thompson, when her sister died 10 months after Ira was born. She was the first librarian for the Georgetown Public Reading Room in 1919 and 1920. This predecessor to the public library was located in the room above the old jail next to the old courthouse. She was a role model to a generation of young people whom she took under her wing.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
With no vaccine, with no cure, our current solution is keeping our distance and staying at home. We stay at home to keep safe, to reduce harm to others. We stay apart while out and about, space between life and death. We keep our distance 6 feet apart because 6 feet apart is better than 6 feet below. We stay at home because it takes upwards of 40 nurses, doctors, laboratory technicians, housekeepers for one COVID-19 patient. Diagnosis, intubation, extubation to full recovery. 40 healthcare professionals and their families at risk while taking care of one COVID-19 patient. Breathe easy. Keep your distance. Stay home. Don't risk you. Don't risk others. This is Rotary Central saying, live to breathe, breathe to live, because breathing is everything.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
FIS MoneyGram is pleased to announce their Shedden Road location will be reopening for money transfer services effective Monday, May the 4th. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, MoneyGram on Shedden Road will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, servicing customers with A through K surnames on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and customers with L through Z surnames on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. To ensure social distancing requirements, customers are required to make an appointment on their days by WhatsApp or texting 928-5130. That's 928-5130. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Emily, Mr. Kenneth Bryan. We're going to start to talk about homelessness in the Cayman Islands, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic as well. Mr. Bryan.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, OC. Or Mr. Connor. I remember my mom says he's OC when you're out in the corners playing dominoes with him. In the studio, he's Mr. Connor. In respect to this topic, I one of my constituents brought it up in discussing about what is happening to those individuals. I can't give an answer as to what is transpiring by way of the various different departments who may be mindful for investigating this, whether it be children and family services or the needs assessment and what have you. But we know that we have a small number of individuals who were homeless before this, and for the various different reasons. I wouldn't say all of them was based on their own circumstances, meaning they chose to be homeless, because some of them I know that I've assisted and offered the government assistance, but they just chose to be that way. And then some people who didn't have a choice. But throughout the regulations and the curfews that have been implemented, I've known of many cases where the police department actually have found persons in various different areas across the country and had to basically give them a belie from breaking the rules because their circumstances are what they were. And I am worried because they're more at higher risk than your average person who has a location that they call their home and it's a safety zone. That's their bubble that we hear Dr. John Lee talks about. In respect to persons who are homeless, they're constantly moving and chances are constantly interacting with a lot of persons. And I'm not sure that there is a concerted effort in this. And I want to, before I get on with the rest of the show, because there's going to be a number of concerns I bring up this morning. This morning's show is not about criticizing this administration, but only examining the issues that I see are presenting as a result of the pandemic, and things that I think we should be talking about. But I'm hoping that those persons who were found to be homeless are being contacted, because in most cases, there are a lot of known individuals who were homeless before this. And there's also people who are recently become homeless for a number of reasons, whether it's the landlord have kicked them out. And I'm hoping that there is a tracking system of some sort to whenever the police find persons, probably at the public beach, that they go to them and say, listen, we want to know who you are. I heard the Honorable Premier say that once you go to the Needs Assessment Unit, you will be assisted with home and board. I've yet to get much information as to where they have gone with that, because I don't haven't seen any housing acquired by the government for these individuals, and there seems to be a responsibility left on those individuals to go and find their own room and board. They'll pay for it. So the government is paying for the financial part of it, but they're being told to, if you find a place, we'll pay for it. And even that suggestion in itself is kind of putting persons at risk from a breaking the law perspective, because you don't have anywhere within the regulations to allow you to go out and look for apartments. Everything that you are doing now has to be accounted for within those regulations, and there's nowhere in the regulations that say you can go out and look for apartments. I've actually had to call the police commissioner and get a written permission from him to allow one individual to go out for 3 days who was sleeping in his car for 2 months before the pandemic, and he was given a written email. Thankfully, he still had an email account, and the letter gave him 3 days between a certain amount of time, and he had to find an apartment within that period of time.
Any attempt being made to elicit the help of landlords who may have vacancies, and not only have vacancies but are prepared to rent to persons who are being assisted by the needs assessment unit, because for some whatever reason, some landlords are reluctant to do that. So to find some way of having those landlords the same way that we have a system set up for people to register if they have an interest in leaving the islands and want to go on a flight, set up some system there so that landlords, if they have availabilities and they are prepared to rent to government assistant individuals, to register there, so that would help. That would avoid.
I agree with you wholly, Mr. Connor, because unfortunately we don't have that system that you're talking about, which is basically a general registry of boards and accommodations in the Cayman Islands. Funny enough, just about 3 months before this pandemic came on our shores, I had a question into Parliament asking the Housing Minister, which is the Honourable Dwayne Seymour, whether we have an account for how many apartments we have, how much available space we have, and the answer was no. We don't even know what the quality of the housing is. We've been talking about this housing problem for a while, and that was about availability. I think that may reduce a little bit now because of the pandemic, but we still can't make the necessary decisions because we don't know what is available. I personally think it's time for us to start considering mandating.
Well, the private sector knows what's available. You go into any of those top-notch realty companies, and they have their listings there, the multiple listings of places that are available for rent. Why can't we have that in the not too affluent sections as well?
Well, I would agree with you. And I think that could be done by way of regulation, by mandating because if you're in the rental market, you actually are in business. You're selling a service, which is room and board. So I would simply say that in order for us to get a handle on this, is force persons who rent room and board to register with a department, whether that be housing or what have you, but not to charge them, but just say, listen, you can go ahead and do that. We know that you're essential to the housing market, but we need to know what is available out there and what the quality of them are.
Okay, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Now, when you shop with us at any Foster's supermarket or Priced Right location, you'll be required to wear a mask or face covering to help keep you and our team safe.
Face coverings can include reusable masks, disposable masks, homemade masks, bandanas, or scarves.
Your face covering should cover your nose, mouth, and chin to be most effective.
For more on this and our response to COVID-19, visit fosters.ky or follow Foster's Cayman on Facebook and Instagram.
And the time by Foster's is 7:59.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Medical Officer of Health says at this stage there's no plan to randomly test the whole island. Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez says they're focusing on individuals who've had greater interaction with the public and potential exposure to COVID-19.
So all those frontline testers in the healthcare sector and other sectors as well, the supermarkets, pharmacies, anyone, the group that is already out there, these are the ones that we're focusing testing right now. As you all know, we also have increment testing in the sister island, and those are the main group that we are testing right now. We will start testing other groups in order to start allowing them to get into the economy, into the regular hours.
So far, a total of 4,564 people have been tested in Cayman with 85 confirmed cases. Of those, 50 have fully recovered. The police commissioner is reminding the public that a full 24-hour hard curfew as it relates to beach access on Grand Cayman remains in place through at least Friday at 5 a.m.
And this means, as I've previously highlighted, no access to public beaches on Grand Cayman at any time until Friday the 15th of May at 5 a.m. This prohibits any person or persons from entering on, walking, swimming, snorkeling, fishing, or engaging in any type of marine activity on any public beach across Grand Cayman.
Police Commissioner Derek Byrne. His Excellency the Governor praises Kirk Supermarket for their swift action on the COVID-19 outbreak there.
I know people will be concerned about the outbreak at Kirk's, but I think actually Kirk's handled it extremely competently and efficiently, and we are only talking about a very small number of people, and this is what our frontline testing is for. It's exactly for this purpose. So we will get cases popping up from time to time, but we can then isolate them, track them, and trace them and suppress any wider spread.
As of Monday afternoon, 121 people had been tested at Kirk Supermarket, and the percentage of those positives were pretty low, just 3. As of Tuesday, the plan was to complete testing of everyone in the supermarket, with a deep cleaning being performed at the supermarket, supervised by the Department of Environmental Health. Healthcare workers on the front lines are working long, hard hours amid the COVID-19 pandemic, some pulling extra shifts without even stopping to eat. And many restaurants across Cayman have been donating meals to keep essential workers fed. The Ministry of Health is pleased that the restaurants have been contributing to providing food for the healthcare workers.
Shout out to Popeyes and Burger King, provided food to the HSA staff in Grand Cayman. I thank you very much. Shout out to Star Island, provided food for the Faith Hospital staff in Cayman Brac. We thank you for that.
Minister for Health, the Honourable Dwayne Seymour. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News. The northern Chinese city of Jilin has suspended train and bus services after finding dozens of new cases of the coronavirus. Schools, gyms and cinemas have been closed. China appeared to have brought the virus under control and is determined to stop a second wave of infections. Thailand has reported no new infections of the virus for the first time in more than 2 months. It was the first country outside China to register a case of COVID-19, but recorded only 56 deaths from the disease. Hong Kong has reported its first cases of coronavirus in more than 3 weeks. A 66-year-old woman and her 5-year-old granddaughter have been found to be infected with the virus. Britain's opposition leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has challenged the Prime Minister in Parliament to explain 10,000 unexplained deaths in British care homes last month. Boris Johnson said his government was making progress on reducing the pandemic, but there was more to do. The European Commission has issued guidelines on tourism and travel for member states to follow as they ease coronavirus lockdowns. A phased approach would start with allowing seasonal workers, then restrictions could be eased between regions that had got the virus under control. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed the retired diplomat Ibrahim Gambari as his new chief of staff. He replaces Abba Kyari, who died last month from the coronavirus. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has been having talks with Israeli leaders that were expected to include the discussion of Israel's possible annexation of parts of the occupied West Bank. The plan is bitterly opposed by the Palestinians. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders.
KFC Chicken Share. Just $12 each. Oh, want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me? The new chicken share from KFC, just $12 each. And it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
Funky Tank's Shedden Road location is now open for deliveries, Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 949-0998, WhatsApp 916-0568, or email markw_ft.com. Funky Tanks is your music and more store. Shedden Road location now open for deliveries, Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Stay safe and stay home, Cayman.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman. Coronavirus prevention tips. Advice for vulnerable people. Extra steps you can take to avoid COVID-19. If you have a chronic illness such as respiratory disease, diabetes, heart disease, COPD, hypertension, or cancer, or are elderly, over 60, or have a compromised immune system, you can further protect yourself with extra precautionary steps in addition to prevention tips. Remember, you are supported. Call the HSA helpline on 1-800-534-8600 or 947-3077 if you have any questions. For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking. Change your life. Developing the giver's mindset can bolster any relationship.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, some of the biggest challenges in relationships come from the fact that most people enter a relationship in order to get something. They're trying to find someone who's going to make them feel good. In reality, the only way a relationship will last is if you see a relationship as a place that you go to give and not only a place that you go to take.
Change your thinking. Change your life. Days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
A pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 84%. Barometric pressure is 29.98 inches and rising. The wind is east at 5 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and slight seas are expected over the next 24 hours in association with a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the northwest. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of morning showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And the forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Low tide will occur this morning at 10:24, and a high tide this afternoon at 7 minutes past 4, and a low tide again tonight at 4 minutes after 10. The sun will set this evening at 6:51 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:51. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic is steady but flowing on North Sound Road coming from the Butterfield roundabout, heading towards the industrial park. And on Owen Roberts Drive, pretty nice free-flowing traffic. And no issues coming from the West Bay four-way stop as traffic is light to moderate. Moderate flow of traffic on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, and coming from the east on Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway, moderate flow of traffic. And traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way is flowing moderately, and Cool Road as well. And in and out of Georgetown on Shedden Road looking pretty good as traffic flowing nicely, and pretty good traffic flow on Edward Street. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic outlook. Remember, take heed, reduce your speed.
Subway is helping to keep Cayman safe by limiting store openings and hours, offering curbside pickup and delivery right to your door. With 3 locations currently open to serve you: Anderson Square in Georgetown, Centennial Towers in West Bay, and Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah. Subway is open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on soft curfew days. Free delivery for orders with a minimum $20 purchase. Delivery times only from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Subway, helping you to enjoy your favorite foods in the safest way possible.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Whether you need it to cool off after a workout or make a cup of coffee in the morning, your tap water is there when you need it. It's also been there to help our community prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Water Authority Cayman works hard around the clock to ensure high-quality drinking water is there when you need it. To learn about your water's journey from source to tap, visit the Water Authority's Facebook page.
Do you want to shop online at A.L. Thompson's? You can. We offer goods that you need now for your home and yard. Visit our website for details and register to shop. Currently, we sell only the items that are on the website, but we'll add products regularly and frequently to meet your needs. You could pay for your order by debit card, credit card, and store accounts. We have contact-free delivery, will not enter households, and will maintain social distance for everyone's safety. We hope that you'll enjoy shopping online at althompson.com. Please remain healthy and safe.
Join us every evening at 6:59 p.m. for the Time Check Salute in Cayman kind style
with the blowing of the conch shell.
As the Cayman Islands community extends their appreciation to all of the frontline staff who are working to keep our islands safe and functioning during these challenging times.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Social distancing. Well, that means you to keep a distance of 3 to 6 feet away from the person next to you. Or in layman's term, if you can see the color of the eye next to you, you're too close. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Cayman kind.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA, and Mr. Kenneth Bryan. What we're going to do is we're going to let you know when we have actually opened up the phone lines again, because there are still some topics that we want to cover with Mr. Bryan. So we will let you know when the phone lines are open. Just very quickly, Miss Paula Rose Scott wants to wish her daughter a happy birthday. That's Ellen Rose Scott, who's celebrating her birthday today, and happy birthday coming from your mother, Paula Rose Scott, with much love and best wishes for a wonderful day. Mr. Brian, back to you, sir.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Connor. Before we went to the break, we were talking about homelessness and the need for housing in the Cayman Islands. And we were talking about whether or not there is a concerted effort to identify individuals who were homeless beforehand or who have become homeless as a result of the pandemic. And recognizing the difficulty with that measure because of the lack of housing registry or accommodation registry in the country. As I was saying before the break, I put a parliamentary question into the Legislative Assembly to ask the Minister for Housing, who is the Honourable Doreen Seymour, whether we have some way of accounting for how much housing we have available, or even to quantify the quality of the housing, and none of these systems are set up. Therefore, we don't know how housing and government stepping in to assist in these housings with that current setup be problematic. And this is why we're having persons who are coming to government approving them to assist them with monies to get an apartment, but then they can't find any, or it's difficult for one under the regulations that you can't move around unless you're moving around for specific purposes, and the regulations do not cover persons who are trying to find a place to stay. My suggestion, and it's something I suggested in the Legislative Assembly, is that we make it mandatory for persons who rent apartments to register with a housing authority of some sort. Only for the purpose, no other purpose other than to just know the information. There's a lot of persons in the public who you have it from different stratas. You have big, expensive condominiums. You have your general apartments. Then you have persons who may have en-suites onto their houses, extra room in their houses, or some people may call it sometimes what you call tenement yards, where there's a house with many, many rooms in it. But we need, in order for us to make good decisions about this very important topic called in respect to housing, we need to know the information. And the information that we need to know is how much do we have? What's the quality of them? What are the price ranges? Who would be willing to work with the government in respect to this? And how do a person who is homeless find that out quickly at the ease of a button by going onto a public register to say, listen, we have, 6,000 places registered for rental. Currently, 5,780 of them are being rented. The other ones are not rented. Here's the contact details for you to go and work with them. And then they can even add on a little icon on there to say, yes, they will work with the government in respect to the needs assessment unit. These practical approaches could help us deal with situations like what we have now, where persons are being evicted from their homes because of loss of income through work with the pandemic, or persons who were homeless before. Because I support the government in their efforts to say that they will do everything they can to assist persons to make sure they have a roof over their head. But without a proper system in place, I don't see how they're doing that. And I have real life experiences where constituents, not only in my constituency, have said that, yes, they've been told they'll be approved, but they need to go out and find their apartment themselves. I just think that's unsafe and impractical. Even before the pandemic, it was impractical, and it's even worse now. So just to bring that concern up, actually, I just got a message just now, and I think it has to do with the NAU specifically. And we're going to definitely be touching a little bit more on the NAU shortly, but I think this message kind of sums up a lot of what's going on, and I'm not going to mention the person's name. It says, "Good morning, Mr. Kenneth. NAU was asking for the account numbers to place the funds to pay helpers who take care of disabled persons. It's been 2 months, and some of the caregivers have not been paid yet. I know this is true because of my family member, Miss Jean Doe, and I won't say the name, is one of them. Can you please check on that? Also, you are right about the housing. They will not check to see where some of these people have to live. It is in some of the nastiest places. NAU needs to have these so-called apartments checked out. God bless." for your endeavors. And there's truth to that, because there are some accommodations in our country that are not fit for room and board. I don't even think we have a standard that we've put out there. But these are just the little dark pieces of our governance that we need to iron out, and it's just becoming more magnified as a result of this pandemic. But moving on, because I do want to get to the callers, I want to talk about jobs for Caymanians. As we know, this pandemic has caused many persons to be unemployed. Obviously, it's important for me to focus on my people, the Caymanians that are here, and those who are resident in the Cayman Islands by way of permanent residency. Forgive me if there's a work permit holder who is listening. My focus is on Caymanians. If you're a work permit holder and you don't have a job, I would suggest that you inquire about going back home, because at this particular point, the focus has to be on our people for what opportunities are available. But OC, I see a major issue coming up on the horizon, if it's not already there, whereby we know that we have our second pillar of our economy basically shut down, and that is tourism. And we know that there's many Caymanians who are within that industry who are now jobless. But we know that the Premier and the government is focusing now on the local economy and whatever industries that are available still. And we also know that financial services seem to be doing okay because of their availability to work remotely. Obviously, they're being affected negatively by the global economy, so not a lot of movement within the markets and registrations and such. So they will take a dip, but thankfully they can still operate because of the remote ability via computers and the like. But to highlight the fact that there is now thousands of persons, and I say thousands without any evidence, but I can only assume that it's thousands because there is thousands of people working in the tourism industry. How many of them are Caymanian? How many of them are not? The truth is we don't even have the data for that. The government has been asked on the media press briefings recently, do we know how many people are unemployed? And we've yet to get that answer because we don't have the necessary systems in place to verify who's employed and who's not. Another area of concern that we need to fix in respect to once we pass this pandemic, because if we knew that, we would know how to make the right decisions to fix it. But we're going to go on speculation here for a minute. Let's just say there's 1,000 Caymanians who are now unemployed, added on to the 400 or 500 that they said before the pandemic was unemployed. 1,500 people, Caymanians, who no longer have an income. And if they don't have an income, Constitution, we're obligated to make sure that they're okay, feeding them, housing them, and the like. That's a very costly exercise. And we know that there are a lot of jobs locally, in the local market, that is going to become available as the government releases its plan. My question is, what is going to be the process of transitioning Caymanians into some of those jobs that we know work permit holders have? Now, I want to clarify something before people start to accuse me of trying to get rid of work permit holders. Every government, every administration's responsibility is to its people first. And every business community should also know that it's important that Caymanians are employed, because if they're not employed, it can create many other social unrest. Crime is the first thing that comes to my mind. If a person cannot survive, they will do things to survive that are maybe not within the law. So we have to make sure that our people are doing okay. I want to know what the work department, which is better known as Workforce Opportunity Residency Cayman, which is the department and authority to manage that process of persons who are unemployed now, and how we're going to transition them into what jobs are going to become available once the market opens back up. Who's going to examine, how many work permit holders do we have within the local market? and how can we transition, say for instance, if you're just using the example of the 1,500, how we're going to transition them into those jobs. And it's going to be a difficult conversation because we don't have much legislation, and I don't think that we should be mandating employers to do certain things, but there has to be a dialogue between the business community and the government about the priorities moving forward. Because if the government has to take out the burden, then the government is going to tax the same business community in order to take on that, to take care of that burden. And bottom line is, our laws should be about making sure that Caymanians are first. So what I'm suggesting is that there needs to be that conversation with, say for example, the Chamber of Commerce, because that's the only authority that really truly represents the business community on a large scale. The only one that we have registered. We have the Small Business Society Association. You can also speak to them. But talk about the fact that, listen, normally a business could have 50-50 work permit holders and 50-50 Caymanians. What are we going to do, and how can we help each other, because we have a vested interest in the country, to say some work permit holders who you may have, maybe it's time to say we're not going to renew your work permit. Because it's more in the interest to try to transition some of our Caymanians into those jobs. It's going to be a difficult one because, business owners may say, I got my work permit holder and I've spent the money on the work permit. I've also grown to like this individual, they're productive and what have you. But we have to make sure that we look at this as a matter of priority of what's important and recognizing that we all have a role to play in this, particularly that of the business community. So I would like to see that discussion happen because it has to happen. We have to ensure that all of those Caymanians that are unemployed have opportunities, because many of them have skill sets that can be transitioned into new jobs that would be, not new jobs, but jobs that are existing that are held by work permit holders. But I think this is also a good opportunity to highlight an important point. Many persons who are unemployed, who may have come from that industry, the tourism industry particularly, we have to start preparing ourselves mentally from now that you may have to take another job that may not give you the same income that you had before until things change. So, for example, you may say, I was making $3,000 before. You may have to take a job that's going to pay you $1,800 or even $1,200 while the government tries to assist with the cost to assist your life through other means. So if you can cover your rent, the government can help you with food, light, and water, or what have you. It reduces the burden on the state and on the government to then tax you later on. So I want us to start preparing ourselves mentally for those who are unemployed to say, listen, I'm willing to take whatever I can get. But I also want the business community to remember that they have a moral obligation, that we have a large amount of Caymanians who are unemployed, and the burden will come back to you later on. I don't want them to think that they can ignore this, because if Caymanians are unemployed, constitutionally, as well as representatives of the government and opposition, our obligation is to take care of them. And the way to take care of them is going to be a costly exercise. The only way for us to raise that money is through taxation. And we don't want the other burden of criminality creeping up, which is also a costly effect. So for those in the business community, particularly the Chamber, I'm imploring you to please start considering this. If the discussion hasn't already started with the executive arm, which is the cabinet, I think it needs to start talking about it now, because we already had started the first phase of opening up. The question is, many of those persons who are now exempt and allowed to be open for business, how many of the gardening companies, for example, could those Caymanians who are unemployed be put in those positions? And I'm worried that we're starting to open up before we start to think about what is the opportunity here to fix the problem that is going to be a serious one, which is unemployed Caymanians. And the department responsible for that and the ministers responsible for that are work. And I know that we have a new head for work now. I think Miss Ralston.
Acting.
Well, yeah, acting. I'm not sure what happened with Miss Ralston.
She has based on the news report and information provided by government, she has now gone back to the office of the ombudsman, and she will be heading up a section there that deals with complaints against civil servants, I think, but she's returning back to her.
Well,
Remember, she was only on secondment from the ombudsman's office to that position work.
I was aware
It was
that
only
she
temporary.
applied for the post.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Anyway, that's a different story for a different time. But Workforce Opportunities Residences of Cayman, the councillor is Austin Harris and the minister is the Honourable Premier. And I would like to know what is the plans in respect to this, because we can't wait to talk about it after we've opened up. The opportunity should be now while that transition is happening.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with MLA Mr. Kenneth Bryan will continue after this commercial break.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether we're celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling, West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Essential staff, police officers, immigration, customs, doctors, nurses, first responders, they are essential staff. So if you got to ask, then you ain't. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Fluff and Fold in Camana Bay is open. You've been carrying a heavy load for some time. Take a break and let Fluff and Fold carry the load. Dry cleaning and wash and fold laundry service with all necessary measures to ensure the safety of our staff and customers. Contact free pickup and drop off at their Camana Bay location. Give yourself a little bit of freedom. Fluff and Fold in Camana Bay. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
For more information, call Fluff and Fold at 943-5833.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA Mr. Kenneth Bryan. Before I go back to Mr. Bryan, one of our listeners sent us a WhatsApp message and wanted to know if someone needs to be baptized, where do they get approval to use Smith Cove? And I would just point out to them that the regulations, suppression of COVID regulations that are currently in force, has certain prohibitions in relation to public beaches. Things. So, here we go. Public meetings, in relation to public meetings. A public meeting is defined to include a gathering of more than 2 persons in any public place for the purpose of engaging in a range of activities, including, for example, leisure, recreational, or spiritual activities, parades, sporting events, concerts, conventions, conferences, graduations, and fundraisers. And I would draw specific attention to spiritual activities. I believe that my view is that the baptism would fall within the range of spiritual activities, and if it's going to involve more than 2 persons,
well, it should be 2.
Right? If it's going to involve more than 2,
and
then
the person who's being baptized.
But let's say, for instance, it was a child that was being baptized.
That's true. That's true.
Then it could be. But the beaches are closed as they are. But they would have to make an application to curfew time. They're the competent authority. Make an application to the competent authority, and they will send you a reply in relation to your request.
I would also add to that, OC, to say that the police commissioner has under his authority to make a discretionary decision there to allow 2 people. I don't think he would go outside the realms of the amount of people, but he could give a special permission for a group of 2 people to go there at an exact particular time for 1 hour to do it and then leave. That can be done. So if you want to reach out also to the commissioner's office, I know their office is quite competent and responds within good order. So because what's going to end up happening is the Curfew Times Authority, which is the Chief Officer Eric Bush, would have to relay that information with the police. As you heard, the Curfew Times has more authority in respect to giving permission for working opportunities. Permissions for breaking the curfews has to come from the police commissioner himself. So I wouldn't only do curfew times because they're going to end up calling the commissioner anyway. I would suggest.
But that question was in relation to the beach. It's the use of the beach. But I believe it goes beyond that as well in terms of, I mean, you don't want to open Pandora's box.
That's true.
You get a situation where one person says, okay, I want to be baptized, and then you have some institution that decides, well, we have a host of persons that we need to baptize, but we're going to baptize them one at a time.
Well,
you leave a loophole there, and you open it for others as well. Just want to make one observation in relation to your concerns about jobs for Caymanians as well.
Yes.
I think we have to start at a point in recognizing that many work permit holders have left the jurisdiction. Many work permit holders will not be able to re-enter the jurisdiction for quite a while as a result of the closing of our borders, but also as a result of the closing of the borders of many other countries as well. So we're going to have to make do with what is available in terms of the workforce, what is currently available in the Cayman Islands. I saw someone sent a question the other day that I didn't get an opportunity to address about persons being able to work remotely from other jurisdictions. There is really no way for us to police that at this point in time. There's no way to get around that. But there are certain things that will need to be done physically here in the Cayman Islands. Now, what we need to be observing also what are employers doing in the Cayman Islands? Are they seeking to utilize the current workforce that we have in the Cayman Islands, be they Caymanian or non-Caymanians? And if they're non-Caymanian, it would usually involve a variation of the person's work permit to allow them to work for another employer. And those are the things that work has to look at. When those requests are coming in, are we disadvantaging Caymanians by allowing an employer to now take a work permit holder who's here, has a work permit for another entity, but may want to either work part-time or may want to switch jobs from one employer to the other? That's where we have to start policing it.
Yeah, and that has to be policed under proper regulations, and this is where
I'm not sure regulation has to be in terms of looking at those applications that are coming into work and whether or not they're going to approve them or not.
I agree. But OC, I want to highlight one point that you just made, though. You said that many work permit holders have left the jurisdiction. I'm not sure if I would agree with that yet. Here's why. If you remember last week, and I have my notes here where...
Remember now, man is relative.
Yeah, sure, that's true. The governor was asked about the numbers of how many people who have left on the evacuation flights.
But remember now, a lot of people left long before.
Before that, yes. But my point I'm leading to is the only numbers that we do have for certain is the numbers that they have given us, which is 900 and X amount, and then he said people who have come back home was 300 and something.
I thought that at some point in time that we may have gotten, there was a question that had been asked in terms of the persons who had left the jurisdiction before we closed the borders, because remember we said we were going to be closing the borders.
And there was a number of flights out.
And I believe we did get a figure on that as well. I would have to look back on those reports.
I did. I've watched every press conference since then, and I'd be happy to be corrected. But the fact is, as for the evacuations, the last figure is less than 1,000 people. That means there's still a substantial amount of work permit holders who are here. For various reasons, obviously, there's a potential chance for their job opportunity to come back to light within short order, like, say, for instance, construction. Garden services is back on now. Many of those are work permit holders. So many of them have chosen not to leave because there's no guarantee their job is lost. In the tourism industry, then you know for certain, I might as well go home because they ain't going to come back on. So, but again, how are we making these decisions without facts and details and numbers? We don't know how many has left. We don't know how many Caymanians are unemployed. We don't know a lot of things.
I wouldn't say that we don't know. They haven't published them yet. They haven't given them, and maybe no one has asked the question in the right arena for it. But I wouldn't go as far as to say we don't know.
Well, I would challenge you on that and say that they have been asked. I've watched every single press conference. I've taken notes. I've recorded every single one of them.
But I don't think at any point in time that they say they didn't know.
Yes, they did.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
A matter of fact, the governor said he couldn't concretely say. He can only say what the numbers in respect to the evacuation since the airport was closed. And
because that's what he has access to.
Exactly. And he had to later then come back and say, I didn't even have the numbers then, and came back about 2 or 3 days later. And that question was actually put to the premier, and they don't. And I challenge them to come back with the numbers today.
See, the reason I question that is that knowing the immigration system, when I was over there, and I don't know what it is now in terms of the computerized system, every person in the Cayman Islands is categorized. If you're a person residence with a person with a residence and employment rights certificate, there's a particular code for you. If you're a Caymanian, there's a particular code for you. If you're a work permit holder, there's a code. If you're a work permit dependent, there's a code. If you're a government employee, there is a code. The Customs and Border Control System has records for departures and entry. Bearing in mind now that we rely on the airlines, the advanced passenger information from that, but as long as you have a name, that name is in the immigration system and you're identified as being in one of those categories. And there is a myriad of reports that can be run. I remember during hurricane season, whenever I went to a hurricane committee report as a chief immigration officer, I could produce numbers, I could produce reports in terms of how many tourists had left, because they're all categorized. So it is there.
Well, I would agree with you, because actually common sense approach, that's what I thought as well.
It is
so
there.
I was surprised when the question is asked, nobody knew it. And
see, that's where I tend to disagree. They didn't know it because they didn't have it available, and maybe they didn't answer it the correct way.
The question was asked
but not that information isn't there. They may not have had it there at that particular point in time when the question was asked.
Let's say that you're right.
But they could get it.
Let's say that you're right.
I'm almost feel that I'm 99.999% right.
Which is a very, very high number. Let's just say you're right. Maybe it's good time for the government to actually say the realities of how many people have left, how many people are here, and I know they don't know the numbers of how many people are unemployed, so we can talk about that one too. But I know that the question has been asked on numerous occasions at the press briefings, and they haven't answered the question.
Have to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. When we come back, Mr. Brian, some person has provided us with some information in relation to the residential tenancies law in relation to what you've said, and I'd like to share that with you as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether we're celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
You may be home isolating, but your taste buds can explore the world. Dragon Inn Restaurant and Countryside Plaza, offering savory dishes in traditional, authentic, American, Szechuan, Mandarin, Filipino cuisine, and Cantonese style, made fresh daily. Family dinner specials, rich in taste with no MSG. Choose from stir fry, chop suey, chow mein, sweet and sour, and so much more. Call 947-1166. Pick up Monday to Saturday from 10:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. Delivery 7 days per week until 9 p.m. Dragon Inn Restaurant and Countryside Plaza. Daily lunch specials and combinations, bringing international deliciousness to your doorstep. Call 947-1166 to place your order.
Has being quarantined at home have you looking at your living space differently? Well, Tomlinson Furniture is now offering free island-wide deliveries and phone consultations to help you design a comfortable living space. For inspiration and ideas, browse the Tomlinson Furniture and Mattress Gallery Facebook page, Tomlinson Furniture Cayman on Instagram, or website at tomlinsonfurniture.ky. Open from 9:30 a.m. for phone consultations and orders. Call 949-5383. Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Free delivery island-wide.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay home. Leave Granny alone. Darling child, I mean we can't be visiting our old people because they're more compromised. We gotta keep them safe. Anna got it now? If Anna want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA Mr. Kenneth Bryan. One of our listeners has written in and said, I completely agree with the housing recommendations that Mr. Bryan is bringing forward. However, some of these are already provided for in the residential tenancies law that was passed 11 years ago but never received a commencement date. The government of the day back in 2009 commissioned a report after numerous complaints were filed about both landlords and tenants after Hurricane Ivan regarding the housing crisis at the time. The residential tenancies law was subsequently passed. After 11 years of doing nothing to commence the residential tenancies law, this comes in like having all the symptoms of coronavirus, but doing absolutely nothing afterwards to help yourselves or your family. It will never end well to sit down to do nothing until another catastrophe hits. My question is, now that we are dealing with yet another catastrophe, when will government finally commence the residential tenancies law to resolve the very matters Kenneth is speaking about? And then they go on to share with us the memorandum of objects and reasons of the law. In October 2005, the Law Reform Commission was asked by the government to review the law governing the relationship between landlords and tenants. The government made such request because of the many social problems which had arisen in this area of the law as a result of Hurricane Ivan in September 2004. The bill seeks to give effect to the changes proposed by the Commission in its review of the relevant legislation, which is the Registered Land Law 2004 revision and the Landlord and Tenants Law revision. So that person has shared that with us. So there's legislation sitting on the shelf somewhere that needs to be resurrected.
I was just going to say, I want to thank that person for sending that text. I will definitely be looking into that law to see if there's a solution in there. And it sounds to me as if it's just a matter of somebody didn't follow through and there's a solution already available. So that's good news. Solutions that are available, that is just a matter of implementation. But this matter of housing has been an issue for this whole administration as long as I've been elected. So hopefully this administration is more open-minded to trying to implement some of these things now and try to get through this together. OC, being mindful that I want to give the opportunity for some of the callers. I want to jump on to the next issue quickly and just quickly say my position on it, and hopefully it sparks enough conversation within the right authorities, particularly that being cabinet, to try to get back to this issue. The issue about supervision for children with parents who are being asked to come back to work. It's an issue that I think we need to hear more discussion, more knowledge that the government is thinking about this problem, and they have a handle on how best to address it. OC, as you know, in normal cases, parents usually would have their kids go to school, or there's daycare centers, or they may have a domestic helper at home. And normally those persons are also supervisors of children during the time when parents are at work. All three of those options are now closed as a result of the pandemic, rightfully so, because we want to make sure the transmission of this disease doesn't take control of the country. But now that we're opening the economy slowly, it's presenting a major problem. What you're having is parents having to decide to go to work and have an income to feed their families, and leave their children unprotected and unsupervised and in a dangerous situation, or stay home with their children and then lose their jobs. It's a difficult position for parents to be in. And it's also a difficult position for business owners to be in, because many businesses who want to get back to work now, who may have employees, who may have children, obviously with so many businesses having difficulty, they go, I want to do the morally right thing, but I need to have my business going. And if you're an asset to that company, human capital, why you employ people, is to do the job or the service or sell the product upon which you're in business for. And if that person is essential for you to operate in your business and run, business owners are put in an awkward position to say, listen, I know what's happening at home, but I've just lost X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars because of the pandemic, trying to make sure I can still pay people with no money coming in. It puts a business owner in a difficult situation as well. And this discussion needs to happen, and we need to start preparing ourselves for it. And I want to tell employees and employers, start thinking and examining your business model. Find out how many employees within your business actually have kids, because sometimes people don't even realize, because if you have your kids covered, you don't tell your boss that, I got my kids, because you come to work and you go home, and most bosses may not even realize that. I think it's important that we all examine who are parents that work within your business or your establishment. And if you're going back and if you've been approved as an essential business to be open, start talking to your employees and say, listen, we're expected to be open in a week. Government is opening up construction or whatever other industry, and you have that communication. Talk to your employees. And I want to also encourage the government to talk to the chamber, because only by having dialogue and sitting down together that we can possibly find a solution here. And I know it's a difficult task, but we cannot just, I'm not saying it's being ignored. I don't want to say that. But I want to hear more dialogue from the government, who are our leaders, as to saying to the parents, listen, we're working on this. We're going to find a solution, because what you don't want is children left unsafe at home, or two, which is just as bad, Caymanians losing their jobs because business owners are saying, I'm sorry, but I need people to work now. I need to get that money going again because my business is going under. So I want to hear, I'm hoping that the chamber, who is the only authority that we are aware of outside of Small Business Association that has the voice of the business community, to possibly ask Mr. Woody Foster, who is the chairman now, who is the president, I apologize, to release some sort of a press statement to say, listen, the chamber is examining this and willing to work with the government and employees out there to find a better solution. Whether it's saying, listen, we can bring somebody in a temporary position for, say, for instance, a parent. Say, listen, I can't come back to work right now, even though you've been open, because my children are home. And the business can say, okay, here's the temporary fix. We can put somebody in that slot for 2 months because the schools won't be open for another 2 months, but your job will still be secured. So anybody who's come to take that position for that short period of time only knows that person is coming back to that job, because we can't leave our children vulnerable. What I'm saying is, maybe that might not be the best fix. What I'm saying is, we need to have a discussion to find a solution together. And you can only do that by having all the variable parts of the problem together discussing it. That is the employees, the employers, and the government. Because when there's no solution between the two, the government can step in to assist, whether it's incentivizing businesses to be family friendly. I know the Premier has said, listen, we're encouraging businesses who can allow parents to work at home. That's great. But there's many jobs where you can't work at home, where you need to be there physically, whether the government can say, listen, I'm going to subsidize your business for a small amount. Just please don't let go of these persons, because you don't want another large amount of Caymanians being let go and being unemployed because business owners are saying, I'm sorry, I need to get my business back going. So I just want to hear that it's a focus, that the right individuals are going to be involved in the discussion, because there is a solution. And I know it's there, and the parents just want comfort. At least tell the parents, by way of platform, to say, listen, we're fully aware of it, and we're working hard to find a solution, and we're talking to the right people, and within right order, we should have an answer.
Okay. Top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the conversation will continue with MLA Mr. Kenneth Bryan. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned, and we will soon be taking your calls as well.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
The Department of Counseling Services Family Resource Center is hosting a domestic violence intervention training program next week, Monday to Friday, from 8:30 a.m. until 1. The live webcasts are free certification courses for frontline professionals who interface with survivors, perpetrators, and families impacted by domestic violence. To register, you can call 949-006 or email frc@gov.ky. People in England who cannot work from home are being encouraged to return to their workplaces today. Unlimited exercise, meeting a friend at the park, and moving house are also now allowed under new rules. The United Kingdom economy contracted by 2% in the first 3 months of the year, official figures show. The top U.S. infectious disease doctor has warned of, quote, needless suffering and death if the country opens up too soon. Brazil sees a record daily rise in the number of virus deaths as President Bolsonaro insists the economy must be allowed to run. And Russia orders a stop to the use of ventilators believed to have caused 2 fires at coronavirus hospitals. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Emily, Mr. Kenneth Bryan. One of our listeners also wrote in and said, good morning. Could you please remind that public transport unit, that not all taxi drivers got help from the government. I know a lot of us. So if they would like those who have not received theirs to call in, please let us know. We are begging the government to reopen garages as vehicles need fixing. Someone ran into mine a few days ago and I can't go anywhere. When will there be a flight to Jamaica? Passengers are asking as they complain of how difficult it is for them here as well. So the one in terms of passengers to Jamaica, you would have heard by now that the Jamaica government has set up a website where you go and you put your details in and you put your request in order to be able to return to Jamaica. There are certain questions that they will ask you, certain things that they have in place. And if you are approved to re-enter Jamaica, then the airline that will be bringing you there will be advised of your ability to return. And of course, when you return, then there are certain protocols that you have to follow in Jamaica as well. So the governor has said they continue to dialogue with the Jamaican authorities, but it seems that's what the Jamaican authorities are basically sticking to now. We have a system set up. Everyone has to go through that system, yeah. Despite the fact that the U.S. is being treated, certainly differently in that regard as well. Garages. Any comments on garages?
Of course, I think the Premier has said a lot in respect to this for those who may have been paying full attention to the press briefings. He did point out that garages is something that they're trying to work out now, as long as the right protocols are put in place for safe social distancing in your business. But he also recognized that you can't just open the garage on its own. You need to have the parts stores open as well, because the garages are going to say, well, I'm open, but I can't buy the parts. So I think they got a good handle on that based on his explanation, in that they're focusing on it. I think that we might be pleasantly surprised. By all means, I have no inside information because I'm not involved in the discussion. But based on what I've heard so far, because I pay very close attention to what is being said, I think that the garages may be in that tranche of the next phase with construction. This is speculation now. I don't know for certain, but I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen, because transport is going to be very important in the opening up process, because people need to get from point A to point B in order for the economy to flow properly. So that's my interpretation.
And I think that the Premier also pointed out that in tandem with the opening of garages, you have to also have the suppliers of parts open as well, because there's limited it's limited what mechanic can do without the parts.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to allude to. But in respect to the flight to Jamaica, I have some concerns there, because I understand Jamaica has to make their own decisions with their own nationals, but there is some concerns because there are some Caymanians there who want to come home. So whether or not, I would like to know that we're taking a stock check of Caymanians who are overseas. However that may be, whether it's a social media call, whether it's checking with different agencies and offices. I know the London office is doing a pretty good job of knowing how many Caymanians are over there, and most Caymanians are well aware to contact them if they find themselves in any trouble. But I would like to know, because there's many Caymanians across the world, and I don't know what other countries are doing to my people. I want to know that they're okay. I would like to know that at least there's an effort within, either it's the governor's office or the deputy governor's office, to reach out and send broadcasts to the people. Say, listen, if you're having issues anywhere in this world, you are my people, and I want to make sure that you're okay. If you need help, please let us know what the circumstances are, and we will do whatever we can to assist. Whether it's, okay, because you're not a citizen of that state where you are and you need help, whether we had to fund money there to them, or whether we had to find out evacuation plans to get them home. And what do we do when, in this case of Jamaica, I think the reason why the Caymanians haven't come home yet is because we probably don't want to make the decision to have a flight go there empty with nobody going back, because that's the hold up. Because I know that there's Caymanians in Jamaica who may want to come home. Mm-hmm. So we may have to make that call, because what if Jamaica says, you know what, we're never going to allow any of them to come back? What happens then? Why are my people over there stuck? So I think, you see, I am very reserved in wanting to criticize the government too much, because I don't know what their causes for their decision making. But my job is to highlight the issue. There are Caymanians across the world. I want to know that this government is aware and focusing to make sure that they're okay. Matter of fact, if there's any Caymanians across the world who may be listening to this platform right now, and you are in trouble, my number is let me put it in, everybody knows the area code, but it's 1-345-926-0005. Please call me. You can WhatsApp me, or you can email me. My email is quite simple. It's Kenneth Bryan, the number 2 at hotmail.com. No matter, you can be in Timbuktu, in Japan, England, Russia, the Antarctic. If you are in trouble and you need help, please let me know, because it's important that we protect not only the Caymanians who are here, but the Caymanians who are abroad, because many of our people have gone off to school, have gone off to try to work in different lives, other places. And I think we should have a general registry of our people abroad to keep up and know that they're okay and safe, because this is a global thing. This is not just on Cayman. Mm-hmm. And I would hate to know that some of our Caymanians may be overseas and stuck in a hospital, or don't have health care in these locations, and what's happening, because there are people and I don't think that the government has done, not the government, we don't have a system of checking on our people. I've put a parliamentary question about that as well, to say, do we have a registration list of the Cayman diaspora across the world? It is a hard list to do, because people go all over the place. But even if people who left the island to say, listen, we have a platform for and it's an optional thing. Let us know where you are, how you're doing, and you can update every year. That way we can keep track, and if the people in situations like this wanted help, they can reach out to us. I would like to see a hotline number or a hotline email or an email that persons who are abroad, if they're having trouble, to let us know. I know there's the travel hotline to try to get back home, but even if they're not coming back home, just to make sure that they're okay and that they're safe. Because Caymanian here or Caymanian abroad, you're still Caymanian to me, and I want to know that you're all right. So, OC, I would like to try to take some calls. So I'm just going to go on to the needs assessment unit concern and quickly wrap that up and then take some calls. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so we obviously recognize as a society that the need for the services of the needs assessment unit has increased tremendously. I think they are going into 3 times as amount of what they used to have. I am concerned that there's not enough staff at the NAU, because I've had numerous reports, and I'm thinking now into over 20 persons who said they have made the application for assistance, not for the food vouchers. I think they're doing quite well with the food vouchers and getting at least food, one time $150 food card. But we're having people who are on, matter of fact, persons who have been evicted already and on the verge of being evicted, where they've had applications into the needs assessment unit for over a month and still haven't gotten a call. And I think, I know that this is because of staffing issue, because before the pandemic came, the head of the department at that time, Ms. Tamara Housen, was asking for more staff from then to deal with the workload that they had before. And the Premier did say that they've added 5 more staff to the department to deal with the call center. Taking the calls and as well as dealing with the application form and the approval of it is 2 different things. And we see the evidence of this by way of they actually had to close the office to process some of these forms on a Thursday. They're normally open Monday to Thursday and close on Friday for processing. They actually had to take 2 days last week in order to do processing because they're so backlogged. And what I fear is going to happen is we're going to have a lot of people evicted because people are not being responded to. And not only that, the stress levels for persons at home going, I put my application into needs assessment unit, hoping that I tell my landlord, I got my application into NAU, please don't kick me out yet. I'm waiting for approval. And they're sitting there waiting for this call, stressed out to the max, not sure whether they're going to be on the street or not. I think the government needs to put some more staff in there in respect to assisting with these applications. There's just too many people saying they're not being called back. If you had to deal with 6,000 people before and you now have 3 times the amount of that, you need to do 3 times the amount of staff that you have in order to be realistic. 5 people to answer calls, and matter of fact, as far as I'm understanding, nobody's not even answering the numbers that have been sent out. So I've had people say that they sent out 3 different sets of numbers. What's the point of sending out 3 sets of numbers and you have to call specifically on the day that you're allowed to be on the road? Why would you restrict them to only calling on the day they're allowed to be on the road? You should be restricting them to be calling on the day they're not allowed to be on the road so they can talk to you from home when they're calm and quiet and don't have anything to do. That day that they're on the road is the day they need to go to the shop, to the pharmacy, and what have you. It just doesn't make any sense. And then you have these numbers and they're not answering them. Now, I don't want the staff at the NAU to think that I'm putting any pressure or any burden on you. I personally believe that those staff are doing as much as they possibly can. They just don't have enough staff to deal with the pandemic that we had before us. And I don't think we're taking a realistic approach to how many people are in need with this. And I think that there's a subtle hope that this pension matter will relieve the pressure. It should. That's what it was intended to do on the government. But it's going to take a long time for people to get money in their pockets from this pension. And I think they need to call people back because I suspect, especially if we don't have the numbers of how many people are going to be homeless, the figures are going to get high. And it's because we're not responding fast enough in respect to people, in respect to having paid for their rental accommodations. And it's serious because most people who need that help are persons who were living month to month in the first place. And we've already gone past a month. So, and this notion of telling people that who have been evicted to go out and find their own apartment, there makes no logic. It's against the regulation. They can't be on the road looking for apartments so they can get locked up and get a ticket for it. Not only that, we have no registry of apartments available. So I don't think we're addressing this problem appropriately. I would like to hear more dialogue about it. I know the government is trying, but I haven't heard enough from you to understand that I can give you the full support to say you got a handle on this. 5 more staff. When you have 3 times the amount of work and you were pressured before, they were supposed to get 2 more employees before this pandemic, and they never hired them. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they got a handle on it. And then this is the most interesting thing. They took the department head away from the post, the person who knows most about the place, in the middle of the pandemic. And I must say this. She's always handled my requests and my concerns about constituency matters on a prompt basis. Now, I can't get anything done. I can't get a call. I can't get find out, well, have you looked into this matter? Follow-ups are very slow. I must say, I think that they've made some mistakes in respect to how they're handling that. And I hope that Ms. Tamara Houston is coming back at some stage, because I'm worried that they're not handling it.
Are they all working remotely now, persons at the NAU, or are some working from office?
No, most people are there.
They're there.
Most people are there. At least that's what I saw. I don't know for facts. I don't go into the office itself. I'm not allowed to. I'm not a part of the government. But going up to the office, the girls are doing such a great job in respect to handling the pressure of people coming, going, I want food, I need a place to live. And they're doing a well job, but I think they can only do so much. There's only a certain amount of thing that any one staff can do. So I'll leave it there, and let's see. Hopefully we can take some calls from the public.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. I think we have one caller on hold. We're going to ask that caller hang in there. As soon as we return from this commercial break, we will take your calls. So please stay tuned.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Attention all blood donors, we need a pint from you. Join us at the National Blood Bank this Thursday, 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. The off-campus location at the Red Cross building across from the Farmers Market. Spend 15 minutes, give your pint, and save 3 lives. Curfew day not your day? Not a problem. Visit giveblood.ky, request your letter, and it will be emailed to you. The National Blood Bank Auxiliary location at the Red Cross building. Compliments of the Cayman Islands Red Cross. Community partners are Rotary Club Central, Generali Health Insurance, Car City Fosters Group, and the Cayman Blood Donor Service. Remember, when blood is needed, nothing else will do. This message is courtesy of the Rotary Club Central, supporting the National Blood Bank since 1999. Rotary, connecting the world.
Are you a Caymanian experiencing unemployment or have recently been laid off? Are you already registered with work but need to know what jobs are available or how to post job ads? Contact Work today. Call 945-9672 or toll free at 1-800-534-9672 or email worc@gov.ky.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay at home. Stay home. No get about it. Stay your backside home. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Emily, Mr. Kenneth Bryan. I believe we have a caller on hold. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, OC.
Good morning, sir.
Kenneth Bryan, I have a question to you.
Yes, sir.
All of these people that live in, that calling themselves homeless, do you think all them homeless?
As I said before, I don't think that all of them are homeless they're homeless because of their own choice. They don't necessarily have to be homeless. They have family members and the like, and for whatever own personal reasons they choose to be on the road. But there are some that are homeless because they don't have a place to go, and there are many cases that I'm aware of, and I don't talk about people's personal business, but there are many cases that I'm fully aware of where persons just don't have a job to pay for an apartment. And before this pandemic, there was a real strain on the housing market where people couldn't even get rooms to rent. So if you're alluding to the fact that some people who are on the road because they just choose to be on the road, yes, that is true. But there are also many Caymanians who are on the road because they have no other choice.
But do you know why they choose to be on the road?
Well, I guess it depends on which each situation, I'm assuming.
And me and you know, they don't want the responsibility. They'd rather be out there on the street because...
I don't think we can paint everyone, with a broad brush, caller.
And I saying everyone.
Okay.
And I'm glad you corrected me, but I'm not saying everyone. It's plenty of them that got place to live, but they don't want to respond. They rather be out on the street that they don't have no responsibility. Because I live in West Famous OC, you should know who I is.
Oh, yeah.
And majority of them got houses, but they rather be on the street and bumming and live their life. So I don't call I don't guess I'm saying a lot of these homeless people, but they're not homeless. They are lazy. And that's what I have to say this morning. They are lazy. They don't want to get no responsible.
Well, thank you, caller.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for that. Any more calls, Ms. Susan? Okay. One of our listeners, Mr. Bryan, says, good morning. Please ask MLA, Mr. Bryan, how about other administrative officer level civil servants being seconded to the needs assessment unit to help with this backlog, even if remotely? Also, does the NAU have a call center system where all calls or emails are responded to with a reference number? Some people have told me that they are waiting for 6 weeks for a reply, and when they call to follow up, nobody answers. They are all too busy with limited staff assigned to the NAU.
First thing before I further on with the NAU, I want to say to the staff that are there right now, I thank you so much for all the hard work you're putting in. And I want you to genuinely know I don't think that this is because you're not working hard enough. I just think that there's only so much you can do to fulfill this problem. In respect to the comment that the person sent in, yes, there could be options for secondment. I think actually some secondment has been done. But bearing in mind that the information at the needs assessment unit is a lot of sensitive information. You just can't have anybody seconded there. There's protocols of details that shouldn't be exposed just to anybody. But also the necessary training on what to ask, what to look out for to assess. But can they actually have persons seconded just for doing certain things? Then of course I think so, and I think that's where the whole notion of five other persons being brought on for the phone call system was done. But bringing somebody on to be, say, for instance, one of the assessment workers, there's certain skill sets that is necessary, and this is why I'm surprised, really, really surprised that they would move the director at this particular point in the middle of a crisis, a person who could definitely be given the best guidance in respect to how to handle this influx of more than 3 times the amount of persons that are in need than normal. But in respect to the names, I just pulled up on the website. They have 5 different telephone numbers. I don't see what the point of that. Now, a person has to be listening to the press conference or see a press release and remember exactly which number it is that they're supposed to call. That makes no sense. You're supposed to be calling one number and then be allocated through a call center system as to which day you're on. And I don't even see the point of the day in the first place. That makes no sense because you're calling from a phone. And for you to be forced to call on your day that you are allowed to go on the road, that definitely doesn't make any sense. That's just my personal opinion. Because if I have to go to the pharmacy, go to the supermarket, and pick up food of my day, most of my day is going to be consumed because I'm going to spend an hour in each line to do so. And God forbid I don't have a vehicle and I have to walk. So your day is consumed within that. And hopefully, if you have enough time left over to make a call, that you do remember one of the 5 numbers and that line isn't busy as well. So I just didn't think, I'm not wanting to criticize overly. I know I'm doing that regardless of me saying so, but I just don't think it's a practical approach. And it's not something I would have done if I was the minister involved or in charge of that. That's just my personal opinion. I do want them to succeed. I think the best way to do that is to increase the staff amounts. Some days, OC, I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to drive by the needs assessment unit and see people, how many people are out there every single day in the back. You know, they should be quite happy that the office location is where it is. Is hiding from everybody. Because if that office was in the center part of Georgetown, I know where everybody could see and drive by and see the lines, they would have straightened it out by now. But you see, I don't know if I'm speculating here, but I personally think it was strategically done that way to put it in the back of that building where nobody would see who's there. That's just my personal opinion, but I could be wrong about that. But I challenge anybody, if you're on your way to go get some food, take a drive down back Hard Rock, back of Guy Harvey, and just drive in and drive back out. Monday to Thursday, any day of the week, any time before 1 o'clock, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just nobody sees it. I see it every day. My people call me every day. Some days I dread going there because there's so many cries, which hurts my heart. And I want to support the government, but I don't think they're putting enough effort in this. Sorry.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Brian.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. I'd just like to suggest that you stop talking too long and so fast because people aren't able to even remember what you're saying. And the majority of the time, everybody knows what the problems are. We need to talk more about the solutions and stick to the solutions. And concerning homeless people and NAU helping people with apartments, instead of continuing to pay rent for people with apartments, the government needs to start collecting concessions and building homes and apartments for people to rent, to own. For example, people who are making $3,000 or less a month are able to pay $700 a month for a 3-bedroom. People who are making $2,400 a month or less are able to pay $500 a month for a 2-bedroom. These are the things what government needs to do to help their people. And stop being greedy and selfish. Because it looks like people have short-term memory and forgot about that earthquake. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to the caller. I apologize if the speed of my conversation, I'll try my best to slow down a little bit so everybody can keep up with what I'm saying. In respect to the housing, I do agree with him in respect to we have to have a better housing opportunity set up because of the true fact of cost of living in this country. for housing was severe before this pandemic. I'm assuming that the housing market may dip a little bit, hopefully not too much, rather than rental markets. But many administrations have been reluctant to take back on basically what the United Democratic Party did, which is really rent to own. I don't know why they're trying not going down that approach. The approach of the housing structure now is basically go to the bank, make the bank approve you. And the fact is, if they can get a bank approval from before, they wouldn't need to come to the national housing system. So I agree that if I was in charge, I would transform the whole housing process. I think housing for Caymanians is going to be, if not one of the biggest issues that we have, but it's going to be the key reason why we lose our country in the future. Ownership of your country by way of property and housing is the one way you secure and handle of control. And I don't think we're doing a good enough job on that. But that's, again, my opinion.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Insurance is complicated. Make your life easier and better protected with comprehensive financial solutions from FIS Insurance Brokers with plans from life, health, property insurance, motor, public liability, and professional liability insurance. Whether you're protecting your family or your business, leave nothing to chance. Understand your options and protect yourself for the future. Speak to your FIS Insurance Broker agent today, located on Shedden Road by MoneyGram, or call 623-5616.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Recent worldwide events bring into focus the need for quality health care. Your life is meaningful. Your health is no laughing matter. Cayman Pharmacy Group strives to make your health their concern. Recognizing the complexities of pharmaceuticals and the need to personalize your care with one-on-one counseling. West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Visit CaymanPharmacy.com for more information. Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
Shopping online and picking up your purchases are now available at A.L. Thompson's. We offer goods that you need now for your home and yard. Visit our website for details and register to shop. Currently, we sell only the items that are on the website, but we'll add products regularly and frequently to meet your needs. You could pay for your order by debit card, credit card, and store accounts, and then can drive in and pick up your purchases. We hope that you will enjoy shopping online at althompson.com. Please remain healthy and safe.
These are stressful times. We can all use a little break from the stress.
I got ice cream for you.
Did you know, according to Science Times, eating ice cream in moderation can help reduce stress? You're not dreaming. You heard correct. Ladies, gentlemen, and kids alike, Cayman Ice Cream is here to save your day. With home delivery of the best homemade ice cream on the island. Quality assurance guaranteed. $10 half-gallon tubs of crepe nut, rum and raisin, vanilla, cookies and cream, banana, strawberry, and Guinness. Call 323-0861 to place your Cayman Ice Cream order now and feel the stress melt away. Indulge in your dreams today. Cayman Ice Cream, 323-0861.
Cayman Ice Dream is also available in all supermarkets.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Shelter in place. Stay home. Stay out of Johnny Public. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA, Mr. Kenneth Bryan, and calls Miss Susan. One call, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, Lucy. Good morning, Kenneth.
Good morning, sir.
And I hope you guys are having a good day. I told you some time ago I was going to call and read you something, a poem that I did about, back in 2008 when we had the recession, and 2010 we were still suffering from the effects of that recession. And I wrote a poem back then, but I never used it for anything. And then when this Corona thing came around, I decided I would embellish on it a little bit. So if you don't mind, it's not going to take too long to read it. But it's something.
Okay, so long as it's not too long.
Not too long, but you love it. So I know you love it.
Not too is relative, but we take you at your word.
Okay, so it's called Return to God. And it starts off, it says, "Come, let us see what we can do to make this lofty dream come true, a dream to house and feed the poor and our humanity restore. Let's think of all the things we waste, the food we toss without a taste. Let's think about the clothes and shoes you throw away or seldom use. Think of the money that we spend to entertain some wealthy friend. Think of the monster homes we built to have us mortgaged to the hilt. Think of the boats, the cars, the bling, the parties wild with everything. Think of the flights on chartered planes to isles exotic for the gains. Those games of chance you now regret because times are tough and you're in debt. You're feeling old, you're feeling stressed. You throw your hands up, what a mess. Let's think about this for a while and maybe we begin to smile. Because if we do, we're bound to say, can't take it with us on that day. So let us think about the one, he says, to give us much more fun. And if you'll bear with me a minute, I'll show you all how we can win it. And here's the way it can be done, $1 per week from everyone. There's 60,000 of us here, times 52, that's weeks per year. Just do the math, you're blown away, 3 million plus 120K. But let us look at this once more. Instead of 1, it could be 4. That's bucks per week we'll sacrifice to help us all, so roll the dice. A movie ticket, a glass of wine, a nice cigar, that would be fine. Let's work with the poor. That's where we'll start. We'll all jump in and do our part. Much grander things are up ahead. So help us stay out of the red. This coronavirus thing we'll fight, and we will not stop till it's taken flight. Right back to hell from where it came. It will be done in Jesus' name. So let us pray each one a prayer. We'll keep the faith and God will hear. He said to take him at his word, and when we pray, we will be heard. He'll give us all the things we need and help us all the poor to feed. We need each person in the land to volunteer and give a hand. There are many battles we must fight before we clearly see the light. That light that opens up our eyes to help us see those bright blue skies. So love each other, be it friend or foe, because that's the way we should go. And from our hearts, we're sure to say, we thank you, Father, for this day. We were the islands time forgot. Now we've become a melting pot. Where we hardly see these ones we know, or sometimes when we do, we don't say hello. We're losing all our godly friends. We're making strangers of our friends. We can't go on like this, Cayman, which means we all must lend a hand. Don't leave it to our government, because all the reserves will be spent. Let's start a COVID-19 fund. It will belong to everyone. It won't be just for things today, but for anything that comes our way. We must be ready when disaster beams, be it earthquakes large or hurricanes. We need each one to do their part and begin each day with a joyful heart. There are many battles we must fight before we clearly see the light, that light that's coming from above, instructing us that we must love our neighbors as we love ourselves, so that no hate within us dwells. And from our hearts, we all can say, we thank you, Father, for this day. We must be strong, though we are small. We'll show the world love conquers all. So let us open heart and soul to help us reach this lofty goal, where the poorest of us have a nest, where they can go to bed, where they can go each night to rest. And perhaps one day we'll reach a spot where we, the island, crime forgot. And if we do, then God will bless and rain upon us happiness.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was powerful.
Very, inspiring. Very inspiring. Any other calls, Miss Susan? 2 calls queued up. Let's see if we can take both calls before the break. First caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning, Cap. How are you?
And I'm still hanging in and thankful. Good morning, Mr. Bryan.
Good morning, Captain.
Yeah, this topic you talk about the housing. If we were to go back to where we come from in the old days, it wouldn't be any poor people without housing. Because the late Elroy Arch, Jim Arch, the late Mr. Miller, Will Banks Miller, they did wonderful in helping Caymanians build a house in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have this restriction. Because
Mr. Brown as well?
Oh yes, Mr. Brown. So many more that I can't name. I can't name, and I don't think I should. Because I'm going to leave.
You're going to leave somebody out. Yeah, that's true.
But the way it was done then, we went to see. I'm talking from experience. One trip I bought a piece of land. The next trip I bought some blocks, and I had my house before I was married. And but a lot of people they were allowed to build one to frame it out, but they could only complete maybe one room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a living room, and they were allowed to go in that, stay in that. The money that they would be paying the mortgage, they was paying towards the money that they were paying towards they were using that to finish their other part of it. Mm-hmm. We didn't have all of this, but they were honest, hard working guys. The late Elroy Arch, he goes down in my book as a hero, because what he done for me, they were not greedy people. They charge you by the hours they work, and he was working for. He was one of the most expensive carpenters and one of the best carpenters in Cayman. He was working for £5 a day. And he only charged me for the hours he put in on the job.
Yes.
They tried to help people. That's the way we got. But since they got all these greedy people here and they got all these restrictions, but it's because somebody's getting something out of it. And I'm not going to go to much, but that's the way. If there was all of this, because if you got a kitchen or cause I know of people that the cabinet didn't. The cabinet maker didn't install the door, and they couldn't get a certificate for
occupancy. Yes.
Mm-hmm. How are poor people going to get anything in these days?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not explaining myself too
much. No, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job, Cap.
Let's go back to basics. Give a person a job. You got to complete everything. Just because your neighbor, I don't say that you must put a shack in somebody alongside of somebody. But if you give a person a chance, give them at least 5 years to complete it, and then of course the banks would go down and all this big construction. Go back to basics. My house, I started New Year's Day 1955. 59, I read Roy Arch and Alfred Miles and a couple of others later, blocks on this. And we locked it up. I'm not going to tell you how much it was, but it was less than £2,000.
Yep.
And we locked that up, and I finished it little by little. I finished it, and everybody. When it was finished, I Well, I never did go to the bank to borrow it because there was no banks here then to do it. So that's the way. I'm not saying you have to go right back to all of that, but give people a break.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
It's ridiculous because Cayman is not the Cayman anymore. Now that's for sure. So that's my little piece for today.
Thank you very much, Captain Paul. Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break now, last break for the morning, and I believe we have how many more calls, Miss Susan? 2 calls. We're going to make those the last 2 calls for the morning as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore,
FIS MoneyGram is pleased to announce their Shedden Road location will be reopening for money transfer services effective Monday, May the 4th. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, MoneyGram on Shedden Road will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, servicing customers with A through K surnames on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and customers with L through Z surnames on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. To ensure social distancing requirements, customers are required to make an appointment on their days by WhatsApp or texting 928-5130. That's 928-5130. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide.
International Lighting, Eds Plaza, North Songway, is now open for delivery Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. In addition to light fixtures, ceiling fans, rugs, sheet sets, and household items, International Lighting now has a selection of masks, alcohol, and gloves for sale. For delivery, please call 945-7121, 916-8211, 916-3553, or 949-5141.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic, your life connected. This is a public service announcement from your Radio Cayman, your community radio station. Here are some coronavirus prevention tips.
Home isolation means staying indoors and completely avoiding contact with other people. You need to do this if you have symptoms of COVID-19. If you are practicing home isolation, you should stay in a well-ventilated room with a window to outside that can be opened, separate from other people in your home. Keep the door closed and use a separate bathroom from the rest of the household, if available. If you have to share these facilities, regular sterilization will be required. Consider drawing up a bathroom schedule for washing or bathing, and have the isolated person using the facilities last.
For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. 2 final calls for the morning, so we're going to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brian. How are you doing?
Not too bad, sir.
Good. I think I'm probably calling in a little bit too often, but I didn't intend to call in this morning. But as a Caymanian of so many generations being Caymanian, it really, gentlemen, grieves my spirit to see and hear people are talking about Caymanians, they don't have this and they don't have that. And I want to say right now, as Mr. Connor said earlier, we are not painting everybody with the same brush. But I said that to say this. The late 60s, 70s, even the 80s, I think Mr. Connor, somewhere around there, might have been chief immigration officer. Am I right?
Well, I was chief immigration officer from 1996, but I was in the immigration department from 1983.
Good. Well, it was somewhere around there. I mean, it's quite a number of years that we're talking about. I had a construction company called Craftsman Construction. At one time, I can remember having up to 17 men employed. And what I can't really fathom and even think, some Caymanians, even laborers, from Monday till Friday, forget about Saturday and Sunday, no, they wouldn't work then. And I can understand. From Monday till Friday, you paid as a laborer $1,100, $1,400 for the week. And you come back Monday morning and says, boss, I need a little, a little advance. Mm-hmm. You go up to the country and western and other places, get 2 Budweisers, tell the girl in the tight pants behind there and, nice looking girl, keep the change. Okay? This is the thing that I cannot agree, and I cannot even don't want to think about it, that Caymanians had such ample opportunities. And at those days, things were much cheaper than they are now. I mean, you get $1,000, you get $1,100, $1,300, $1,400 for a week, and you go and just blow it away. And the days are come now when you said, oh, well, Caymanians this and we wish. Yes, we have to be, but it really grieves me to see that physically, mentally, socially, everything you want to call it, Caymanians didn't think of a rainy day and try to put something one side. Some of us should have mansions to live in. And if they got in a place, not being sarcastic is like a foul coop or living with their parents. Oh, come on. Give me a break. What did they do? It really upsets me to hear that these people are so, come on, guys. I mean, it's a bit late now because the gate is open and the cows are gone out. But I really feel sorry for a lot of the guys, and I help people sometime on a weekly basis. I wish I could do more, but I remember a guy there, a young guy.
Caller, I need you to wrap it up quickly because we still have one more call and I have about 5 minutes left. Sorry.
Yeah. This guy said, I said, every time he want $1, $2. I said, well, what are you waiting on? He waiting till the virus is over. I said, young man, I'm sorry to tell you, the kind of virus that you got, there's no cure for that, okay? So, gentlemen, have a good day.
Thank you very much. Let's go to our last call for the morning. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, OC. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr.
It's a long-lost friend.
Good morning, Mr. Elvis.
Mr. OC, did you hear what put up on Facebook about you when you were in charge of immigration?
No.
Well, you don't have many friends. Yeah, because when you were in charge of immigration, now you can sue me by listening to me. When you in charge of immigration, that all the firemen them were getting, everybody was getting a contractor license, and I required to know their name. Mr. Robert Lewis, because I call his name Robert. I think that's the right name. You remember him in charge of?
He was
in 1996.
He was in planning, I believe, right? Was he in planning then?
Oh, now we underpaid. When I required about which firemen, which civil servants had a contractor license, and Mr. Roger Scott had just take over. You remember that?
In the back.
And we're underpaid now, right?
Okay, go ahead. We don't have a whole lot of time.
Good. And I wanted to find out who were the licensed contractors so I could get a little meeting together that we could form a little contraction association thing that we got working. Basically, all them guys, civil servants, pension paid, everything, right?
Mhm.
And I went to the immigration department, which you at that time was in charge. And you know what you told them to tell me? It's private and confidential. You, Orrett Connor.
And that might have been that at that point in time. If I said that, that would have been right. Yeah, I didn't have the authority at that point in time to divulge that information to you.
Tell me something. Hello.
Right here.
Tell me something. Look at it from the side that a foreigner come in there and they're looking for a contractor to build a house.
Mm-hmm.
And how can it be and how you have a private, I mean a public entity like a construction company, right? How can your business license be private and confidential?
Well, let me tell you what was required of if you had a trade and business license, you were required to publish that trade and business license. But I do believe that the period of time that you're talking about, we also had a chamber of commerce as well. You know, in that regard, we also had a contractors association. You know, also. But if I told you that information couldn't be divulged to you at that point in time, that would have been the case. Now that we have data protection, now that we have freedom of information legislation, more of those things are either out in the public domain, or you can, through freedom of information requests, obtain that information as well. But if I told you that then, and that was the case, and you didn't get it, right? You didn't get it from me, right?
No, listen now. And I walked down to the planning department,
Mm-hmm.
which you had to put in your plans. And Mr. Robert had all the licensed contractors, all the when you have to go through building codes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me something, Mr. Orrett, with all due respect,
Sure.
stop taking me for a fool.
And I'm not going to let you take me for one either.
No, you're not fool. You're bad-minded. Listen, man.
Listen, Elvis, I am not going to let you intimidate me on this radio, right? I'm going to allow you to say what you have to say. Refrain from personally attacking me. I'm not going to let you intimidate me on this radio. Just bear that in mind. Put him on.
Intimidate. I'm just trying to get the truth out.
But I'm telling you the truth. I didn't give you the information. You got it from somewhere else that was authorized to give it to you. Now let's get back to where we are in life now, in reality now. Let's talk about now, huh?
Good. Now that we'll come back. Now, as a licensed business entity in the Cayman Islands, you look at you as a foreigner coming to Cayman Block to build a house. You listen to me?
Yeah.
Good. And you need a list of the licensed contractors. How can that be private and confidential?
It was at that time, like I pointed out to you. It may not be now because of the availability of information, because of freedom of information legislation. And with freedom of information legislation, the government encourages government entities to be proactive, and whatever information they can legally publish, they should do so. I'm going to ask you to leave us there because I want to get Mr. Bryan to make some closing comments. And thank you very much for your call, Mr. Bryan.
O.C., thank you so much for allowing me to be on the show. It was a very informative show today, and I thank the callers who called in. I want to say to the listening audience out there, though that there are some key points I highlighted today in respect to concerns about what's happening in respect to the coronavirus. By all means, I do support the government in its efforts to try to get a good handle and suppress this coronavirus. We're all in this together. It's just sometimes I'm not able to get the information. I want to ensure that the government is aware of some of the things that I'm seeing out in the community, in my community and across the island, because the opposition is not privy to the discussions and what's happening in cabinet or in their caucus. So by all means, don't think that I'm trying to undermine the administration. This is not the time for that. Politics will come again, and that's in the future. Right now, we're in this together. So the discussion today was merely for us to have dialogue about these issues, just in case we're not thinking about them yet. All right. That being said, I want to remind us all to try to be as safe as we possibly can. Follow the suggested guidelines in respect to social distancing, cleaning our hands, and being sterile as much as we can. Remember to love the kids. The kids don't quite fully understand what's happening, so we have to be very special with them. Take care of your seniors, and remember to love yourself. Don't stress out too much, and we have to trust the Lord. We will get through this with His help and His blessings. OC, thank you so much. Miss Susan, God bless you, and thank you so much, and everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you. I want to give a big shout out, a special shout out to Miss Samantha Connolly, who was called to the bar in the Cayman Islands. She, of course, is the niece of MLA and leader of the opposition, Honourable Arden McLean, the daughter of Miss Eleanor Connolly, the niece of Miss Adonia Barnes, known as Topsy, several other family members as well. I want to say a big shout out to her. Big shout out. She has many qualifications, was a licensed pharmacist or qualified pharmacist, now in the legal profession as well. And we want to shout out more Caymanians as well as time goes on. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, for the record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to thank Mr. Bryan for being on the show this morning. I also want to remind you that we are brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. I believe we have a press briefing today as well. And also join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. Please stay safe. Remember, we need to be kind to everyone. Let's put the hatred aside for now and consider all of those who need something, somewhere, somehow. Have a blessed day.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.